Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special mini-series on the inner game of change. I am your host, Ali Juma. This series is all about sharing timeless, practical ways of thinking that can help us navigate change more thoughtfully and effectively in work, in life, and all the messy places in between. Now, before we jump into today's model, let's quickly revisit what a mental model actually is. It is basically a way of seeing, a mental framework that helps us make sense of things, solve problems, and make better decisions. You can think of it like a GPS for your thinking. Now, to bring that to life, imagine you are driving to a place you've never been before. No map, no directions, just vibes. Chances are you will take a few wrong turns, maybe end up a bit frustrated, right? But with the map, your mental model, you've got a route. You can anticipate what's ahead, avoid unnecessary detours, and get to where you want to go with more confidence and less stress. Mental models do the same for change. They help us cut through noise, spot patterns, and work with complexity, not against it. And today, we're diving into a model that is especially good at helping us understand what is really going on beneath the surface of change. The Iceberg Model. Now here's the thing. When we try to manage change, especially big, frustrating, systemic change, we often focus on what's visible. The missed deadline, the grumpy team, the unexpected result. But like an iceberg, when you see above the surface is only a tiny part of the picture. The Iceberg Model helps us slow down, take a step back and ask, what's really driving this? Because most of the time, the real story is happening underneath, and that's where the good stuff is. A bit of a backstory. This model is grounded in systems thinking, an approach that started gaining traction in the 50s and 60s through the work of thinkers like J. Forster, Donella Meadows, and Peter Singh. They noticed that many of the world's most stubborn problems, from environmental collapse to broken workplace cultures, couldn't be solved by treating symptoms. You had to dig deeper, understand the relationships and structures underneath the surface. And that's exactly what this model is designed to help us do. So what's the Iceberg Model exactly? Picture an iceberg in the ocean. The part you see above the water, that's the event. What happened, the thing that everyone is talking about. Just beneath the surface are patterns. These are trends or behaviors that repeat over time. A little further down, you've got structures, the processes, policies, workflows, or habits that are propping up these patterns. And at the deepest layer, mental models, the beliefs, the assumptions, the ways of thinking that silently drive everything else. So it looks something like this. The event, what happened? The pattern, what keeps happening? The structure, what is enabling it? Mental models, why it exists in the first place. Let's bring this to life with an example. Say your team is constantly missing deadlines. That is the event, the thing that everyone is noticing and talking about. Now step back. Is this a one-off or a pattern? If it is happening across multiple projects at different times, then there is probably a deeper issue. Next, ask, what's the structure enabling this? Maybe the process for approvals is clunky, or workloads are unevenly distributed. Maybe meetings run too long, or priorities keep shifting. And then the final, deepest question. What is the mental model behind all this? Maybe it is a belief that speed equals sloppiness, so people hold back until things are perfect. Or maybe there is an unspoken assumption that working late is a badge of honor, so things get pushed until the last minute. You see how powerful that is? When you start pulling on that thread, you stop reacting and start understanding. And when you understand the system, you begin to shape it. So how do you actually apply the Iceberg Model in your day-to-day? Here are 3 really practical steps to try. Notice the event, but don't stop there. The next time something goes wrong, a delay, a mistake, a resistance to change, pause. Ask yourself, has this happened before? If it has, you're likely looking at a pattern. Number 2, dig into structures and systems. What's in a place that could be reinforcing the pattern? Is it a policy, a lack of resources? Is it the way feedback is given or not given? Look at the environment, not just the individuals. And number 3, challenge the mental models. This one takes courage, but it is also where the gold is. Ask, what assumptions are we working from? And more importantly, are those beliefs still serving us? You don't have to do this perfectly. You just have to stay curious. The more you do this, the more naturally it becomes part of how you lead and think. Before we wrap up, I want you to know you can do this. You don't need to be a systems theorist. You just need to be willing to look beneath the surface, to get curious about what's really going on. Here's your mini challenge. Take something that is bugging you right now in your team, your organization, or even your own routine. Identify the event, ask if there is a pattern, look for the structure, and then get brave and explore the mental model. It might just change the way you see the problem and the way you solve it. To wrap up, the Iceberg Model reminds us that what we see is only a small part of the bigger picture. Sustainable change happens when we go deeper beyond symptoms into the systems, structures, and beliefs that shape them. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mental Models for Managing Change. If this episode gave you a new perspective, I'd love to hear from you, or you can share it with someone navigating change too. And next time, we're building on this with a mental model that takes you even one level further, second-order thinking. We'll explore why short-term solutions often lead to long-term problems and how to think in layers, consequences, and ripple effects. I'll leave you with this thought. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. That's Marcel Proust. Until next time.